Welcome to my next Stranger Things Season 3 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you weren't caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching Stranger Things, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention, as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, if out there not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this detailed review any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And full disclosure, thus far I've watched every single episode of Stranger Things. Looking forward to the 5th and final season of Stranger Things, which I'm hearing or is rumored to come out late October, early November, and I'm guessing they're going to take a break once it comes out for like a month and then come back on, so people have to pay as much as they can to Netflix for those of us that just cancel Netflix when our show that we want to watch is over with. So, looking forward to the finale of Stranger Things, that's for sure. And in fact, it's one of my favorite TV shows of all time. It's definitely in the top 20. It might even be in the top 10. This rewatch of the show will help me determine where Stranger Things ranks in my favorite TV shows of all time. But with all that said, this will be Stranger Things Season 3, Chapter 4, or Season 3, Episode 4. The title of this episode is called The Sauna Test, and this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. 11 brushes her teeth at Max's house. She mulls over her visions of and encounters with Billy and Heather. Max assumes that everything is alright despite Eleven's confusion over their behavior. Max shows her a Wonder Woman comic. A hysterical Doris Driscoll is restrained by paramedics while Nancy and Jonathan watch. She continues to insist that she has to go back. So we're talking about Lost here, and they have to go back to the island. No. And she desperately reaches for the steelworks as the ambulance drives by it. Tom and Janet awaken tied up in the basement of the mill. Heather and Billy ungag them. Heather tells her father that there's no stopping it, and Billy tells them not to move. They leave as the Mind Flayer, now in physical form, attaches tendrils to the Holloway's face. Hopper awakens in his cabin, being tended to by Joyce, recuperating from the injuries inflicted upon him by the Russian at the Hawkins lab. The two theorize about the origins and motive, and Joyce reveals she wrote down the man's license plate, but only half of it, as it is accurate. Joyce mentions he was driving a motorcycle, and Hopper remembers a man in motorcycle gear emerging from Larry Klein's office. Max ignores Lucas's frantic radio calls until Mike calls her house phone and tells her to meet them at his place. Lucas tries to contact Dustin, who is busy staking out Link's transportation covert operations. He formulates a plan with Steve and Robin to get inside their shipping room. Steve offers to fight the armed guard, but Dustin reminds him of his poor track record of losing fights. Robin gets an idea and grabs cash from a tip jar, running off. Tom berates Nancy and Jonathan for disobeying his orders and encouraging Driscoll, who turns out to be a paranoid schizophrenic. Under threat of a lawsuit from her family, he fires both of them. The kids converge, and Will Byers explains his recent premonitions of the Mind Flayer's return. 11 insists that she close the gate, but Will remembers the piece of the creature that exited him and theorizes that 11 locked it in their world with them. He realizes it would want a new host, and the group agrees to find out who. Hopper tries to get answers out of Klein about the man who attacked him and threatens to expose his corruptions, but Klein reminds him that he knows of Hopper's previous illegal pill usage. Hopper beats Klein and threatens to cut off his finger until he explains he is working with the man who works for the owners of Starcourt Mall. Klein raised property taxes to allow Starcourt to outcompete local businesses. Klein tells him that the records of these dealings are in his mansion, but he warns him that Starcourt people are extremely dangerous. Hopper drags Klein out with Joyce in tow. Nancy rants about the strange nature of their firing, but Jonathan insists she's convincing herself she is in the right. He berates her for devaluing the importance of his job as she leaves in a wealthy family, as she lives in a wealthy family while he does not. She fires back that he does not understand how humiliating her job was, and they both conclude that they do not understand each other anymore. Nancy returns home in tears. Robin returns with Starcourt blueprints, which she shows air ducts that lead from the ice cream parlor to the shipping room. The three are initially excited, but realize none of them can fit in the vents. Erica St. Clair arrives demanding more free samples, and Robin looks at her and gets an idea. The kids observe Billy at the pool, who has covered the unshaded parts of his body. Mike remembers that the Mind Flayer's avoidance of heat, and Will explains that the Mind Flayer is keeping Billy dormant until it needs him. Deciding they cannot risk him activating and attacking more people, the boys head into the locker room and formulate a plan to trap Billy in the pool sauna after hours. Erica checks the vents, confirming she is able to fit, demanding compensation. The group bribes her with free ice cream for life at her request, and she agrees to cooperate. Klein shows Joyce and Hopper the financial records and again warns them that the Starcourt men are dangerous. Joyce notices a correlation with the bought properties. They are close to the power plant. Hopper finds Klein trying to escape through the window and handcuffs him to his bed. When his wife comes home, he shouts at her to bring him the phone. Karen listens to Nancy explain what happened and tells Nancy she understands why she did not want to be wrong, because when she will be perceived as what most people already see her as. Nancy insists she gets her determination from her mother, and Karen tells her she is proud of her and she should finish the story. The kids try to prepare to trap Billy. Lucas tries to talk to Will about the previous day, but Will brushes it off, while Mike explains Hopper's interference in their relationship to Eleven in hopes of making up with her. Eleven muses that Hopper may be right that they are spending too much time together, and quotes something Mike said while she spied on him in the void, shocking him. Max keeps watch over Billy, hoping he is not the host. Erica crawls through the vents of Starcourt and opens the Lynx transportation door, and her group comes down from the roof to join her. Mike lures Billy to the sauna room using his voice and a CPR dummy, and Eleven stuns him by throwing him against the wall. The kids lock the door, and with a pipe and chain, Max and Billy lock eyes for a moment, and he silently pleads with her, and Max orders the group to turn the sauna on, which they do. Nancy sneaks into Driscoll's hospital room and looks at her medical chart, finding something that catches her attention. Driscoll's heart rate suddenly spikes, and she begins breathing heavily, implied to be the result of Billy's predicament. The Starcourt group extracts a green liquid in a canister from the marked boxes. Before they can examine it, the room shudders, and then when they attempt to operate the control panel to open the door, it plunges downwards, revealing it to be an actual elevator. Billy aggressively demands to be let out as the sauna reaches maximum temperature. He begins to weep, apologizing to Max for the things he has done and insisting that the giant shadow made him do them. As Max tries to comfort Billy through the door, he grabs a piece of broken tile, and the skin on the back of Will's neck flares up. Mike screams for her to get away from the door, just as Billy shatters the glass on it, trying to stab her. He removes the pipe blocking the door, and Lucas shoots him in the head with the wrist rocket. The lights start to flicker, and Billy's veins blacken, and the lights in the hospital in Driscoll do the same. Billy breaks open the door, and Eleven pins him to the wall with a barbell. He overpowers her and begins to strangle her until Mike attacks him with the pipe, breaking his concentration long enough for Eleven to throw him through the wall. Mike briefly holds her, and the kids watch in astonishment as Billy runs away. Billy confirms to Heather that the girl was the one who attacked and nearly killed him, and his identity as the Mind Flayer's host is now compromised. Heather calmly tells him that 11 cannot kill all of them, revealing a dozen people standing before the Mind Flayer, and that's what ends this episode of Stranger Things. So pretty good episode. I'm going to give it an 8.4 out of 10, and my character of the episode is going to be Hopper. It could be many people. I chose Hopper. Take your pick. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Stranger Things and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode of Stranger Things. What would you rate it, and who would you choose as a character or characters of the episode? And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel. Help me get over 100,000 subscribers as I set my goals pretty high. Join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.